Hey, tell a friend. That's why we want you to tell friends about Woodward Sports 2.0, because this is what we're doing. We are liking it. We are subscribing to it. And share it with the crew, man, because we want them to be a part of the energy that you guys get to see on a daily. But the boy is back. Happy to be here. Anson Wells, my co-host, in the building. As always, Anson, how you doing? How was yesterday?
I'm doing better having you back, especially with all that energy you came bouncing in with, man. You had a good weekend.
Definitely had a good weekend, man. As I say, what's up to the crew? Sweet Potato Cam, B-Lad, as well as my boy Gordo on the desk today, or in the audio booth and the technical director booth. But as my right hand, just bringing that good energy in, man. I came in, obviously my nephew was born. And what's up to the chat? Appreciate you guys. Missed you over the weekend. Thank you for all the well wishes on the new birth of my nephew on Thursday. And then Friday, I did leave early for my aunt's wedding. And when I tell you, it was just an amazing occurrence, an amazing experience. I did get a video. I did get a picture of my niece, Josiah's sister, Rain. But I was so present in the moment as I was talking to Sweet Potato Cam. Just so present in the dancing and the ceremony and the friends and the family that were there. It was just it was a well of emotions. Had a great time, and that energy carried into Sunday, where I got a chance to go do Calvin Johnson's camp, man, and just really appreciate what Calvin is doing in the city. When you think about Calvin Johnson, you're not talking about somebody that's born in Detroit. You're not talking about somebody that's been 20 years playing an NFL career here. Calvin's from Georgia. He's from GA. He played 10 years here, and it ended badly. It ended in a rocky situation, but he chose to make this his home. He chose to stay here. He chose to get married here. He chose to have a family, and now he gives back. And so his camp, the Calvin Johnson Foundation Jr., he's been doing this thing 4 years in. It was a good camp. You saw some of the sound bites yesterday. Got a chance to talk about the wide receiver core with him. He's excited to see what they are, and he believes there are expectations on this team, just thinking about what they could be. And then yesterday was the camp. So missed yesterday. I was out there at the camp. Me and B-Lad got some sound, got some footage, and even that was dope to see the type of star power that he got. Jerome Bettis was there. Marcus Allen was there. In fact, I think we got a picture of Jerome as well as Marcus Allen. Let me see if we got that picture up there. There it is. So we got Marcus Allen, Hall of Fame. We got Jerome Bettis, Hall of Fame. See, that's what happens when you're a Hall of Fame like Calvin Johnson is. You entertain and you kick it with other Hall of Famers. I got a fun stat for you guys right here. All right, now you see this. In this picture, there are 31,333 yards. There's 254 touchdowns, and there are 2 Hall of Famers. I looked it up. The amount of yards that we accumulated, them much more than me, 13,000 for the bus, 12,000 for Marcus Allen, 5,000 for myself. It equates to 17.78 miles of yards between the three. But good to see Marcus Allen, one of the coldest football players of his day, of his time. One of 4 people to win the Heisman as well as Super Bowl MVP. Desmond Howard, University of Michigan great, is another one of those. So I had a great time at the camp as well. And we got some good sound and footage out of it, too. Shout out to the morning show as well as Big D Energy. Crunch Time.
The word present, that's what's lingering for me. I think it's a lost art these days. People are so distracted. They're in their phones. They're divided through whatever beliefs them and their family are different on, and it's so hard to be present. And I loved hearing you saying that when you came in today. We all felt it as a team. They had energy. But there's another person who is present in that conversation, and that is one Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
A guy who was not part of this city for a long time. He lived here, and he loved being part of the city. So
and he wasn't here at a good time.
He wasn't part of the Lions.
There you go.
And so what I heard him in those things yesterday that we talked about yesterday was he kept saying we. And his presence in and around the franchise legitimizes them after this just terrible stretch. Yeah. You bring in this new regime, you bring in this new culture, and it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to see those guys like him that had walked away from this franchise coming back and providing something where you could be present.
The cool thing about it, I'm not saying Calvin did anything wrong in the situation, how it ended, how it played out, the whole 9 yards. I'm not pointing the finger and right or wrong. But what you saw is you saw two sides come together as adults.
Absolutely.
You saw two sides come together in maturity and say, hey, look, the betterment of our product is if you're here. Hey, the betterment of the product for me and my name and what I do is if I have the team that I played for. I didn't play for anybody else. I didn't play for the Raiders or this team. So I got to have you guys on board, and the brand gets bigger. They squashed it, they moved on, and the brand has gotten bigger. At that wedding, just to say, last thing about the wedding is people don't believe in true love anymore. Like true love, romance, the whole 9 yards. This is true love. When you talk about the story of Kim married Rudy, and it was my cousin, Kim's my mom's best friend, but like she didn't, 60 plus years in the game, and just never finding a husband, never finding that guy, and never finding that person, and just thinking that it could be over. I'll never get married, and all my friends are. And she finds her happily ever after, my cousin. And, it was just a beautiful ceremony. And this right here.
That's half your phone reel, isn't it?
100%.
I love it.
She is the apple of my eye, 100%.
Adorable.
You see
right?
Brittany snuck in the picture.
Oh, yes.
That was Brittany and Rain in the photo booth. But a lot of fun this weekend. This was by far the highlight. But yesterday at that camp, yesterday at the golf outing, got a chance to hit some shots.
Real quick, though.
We got a couple of those in there, too.
We do, yeah.
How good was that lemon bar?
Oh, man. See,
did you get one?
I plead the fifth.
Man, I would have got three of those. They look bomb.
I plead. Speaking of bombs, your boy was out there hitting bombs on the golf course.
I want to see him, man. I want to see him.
Look at that. Just look at that. Nice and smooth.
I love that.
All you got to do is listen.
Ball.
They don't like look at they beat sit.
Yeah, boy.
Look at that.
No fade, no slice.
Look at that.
That's clean.
You see the pick up the tee? That's that professionalism when you.
quick.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
Straight
that.
that is. Look at that tee shot.
Look at that.
So,
Just a little
stuff,
something.
right?
Just a little
It's
something,
just
man.
over those
Yeah,
sand
B.
traps there.
If I'm gonna spend
the
time
right.
on the golf course and I can't make the show, then I better have something to come back and show you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I have to come back and show you. Excited for today, though. Excited. I feel like every time I come in, like legitimately, there's sound out of Allen Park. There's really good sound today out of Allen Park.
doubt.
Before we get to Dan talks about Christian Mahogany, which I know we talked about, is in a battle at that left guard position. He also talked about Isaac Tesla, wanting to talk about that wide receiver room like I did with Calvin. But here's Sean Payton. Here's a Sean Payton soundbite, and I want to show the Sean Payton soundbite because the Sean Payton soundbite talks about who Dan Campbell is. Sean Payton, obviously, you know him, coach of the Denver Broncos, Super Bowl winning coach with the New Orleans Saints. Once upon a time, employed Dan Campbell. Here's some sound about Dan Campbell, your head coach.
I know he looks at it like there's a lot of meat left on the bone, but the credibility now with that team, what you're getting when you play him, it's
right.
It's very symbolic of the city he coaches in. He was my assistant head coach, and oftentimes as a head coach, you appreciate maybe what you don't want to hear, but what you need to hear sometimes. And he was never afraid to say, hey, we need to back off practice, or we need to pick up, and you appreciate that when you're in this position. It's really cool to see him now in that role where he's answering those questions, and the answers are exactly how you remember them to be when he was in a different position. So the coffee black, the double red eye, all that stuff. That's him.
Double up on those pikes, as Dan Campbell said when he first got here at his presser. But there's two elements to this conversation. The first element I want to talk about is people forget Dan Campbell's road to being a head coach. A lot of times I think they look at Dan Campbell, especially last season, when you're looking at coach trying to figure it out after everything went so right the two previous seasons. You forget who he coached under. You forget that Bill Parcells is his mentor. You forget that Sean Payton is his mentor. You're talking about two of the best coaches in the last 30 years of this game, maybe ever, as it relates to Bill Parcells. This is what he comes from, and this is what he has in his back pocket. Got to remind people that sometimes, because a lot of times they do not like to give him the credit behind the X's and O's. They think he's a guy that's leaning on Ben Johnson, a guy that's leaning on Aaron Glenn. This is a guy that knows ball, and he comes from coaches that really know ball.
Yeah, I was actually watching The Bear last night, and they were talking about how these chefs and these families in these big kitchens and these great restaurants go on to create other big kitchens, and then people come up underneath them. And it's,
shout out to my boy Lip.
And he basically plays Lip in that.
He does.
That series too.
It's a spinoff of whatever the show was called. Shameless.
I mean, he said he lives in AA. That's for sure. It doesn't matter what character he is, but it's the tree.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's the coaching tree. And you do forget that he came from some big time guys, but he's made his own big time guys. AG is the head coach in New York, and the young phenom Osama Ben Johnson killing it over in Chicago, you know. So when you look at
if
that,
it ain't the peasants, it's the Bears.
That's right, man. It's
That's
the
true.
Chicago
Yeah.
catfish. Sorry,
Hate 'em.
Indiana catfish. My bad, guys. But no, when you look at that, this is what we always wanted as Lion fans. We thought we were getting it when we got Patricia's fat ass in town, but no, that wasn't the case. We wanted to be relevant, man. We wanted to not just sell tickets because we could do that at 0-16, but we wanted to be talked about.
Yeah.
We wanted to have all-stars. We want to have potential Hall of Famers. We got those, right? And we've got relevance. And now you've got a coaching tree. Legitimately, you look at the track record of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, and if you come here, you are going to evolve into an offensive, defensive coordinator, and maybe even a head coach down the line. This is a place to be if you're a young, aspiring head coach.
Yeah, 100%. The second thing I want to get you guys involved in, Gordo, as well as in Bilat, talking about Dan Campbell. Much is made about Dan Campbell in terms of his practices. That's why I thought it was very ironic and it was very funny that Sean Payton was talking about Dan Campbell saying, hey, look, coach, you got to ease up on the practices. The boys have been through enough. They need a little time. One of the big things here in Detroit, are the players practicing too much? Is that's what's going on? Are they getting worn down by the end of the season and getting injured? That's come out. That's not me. That's not this network. That's what's been said. What are your thoughts about Sean Payton saying that directly as it relates to a guy that's in question from time to time?
Yeah, it definitely speaks on a lot of different numbers, and the reasoning behind it is like when Dan Campbell first got here, it feels like he was practicing him too hard. Like we saw the Hard Knocks clips where it's like, oh, we're going full pads, we're hitting on the first day, and players are like, whoa, like, you know, like what is this? We never see this.
Frank
in the
Reich
NFL.
I remember he's talking to Frank Reich on the walk into the practice field.
Yes.
Frank Reich was like, man, you guys,
He's like, is this guy out of his mind? Like
100%.
And it's crazy to think that like that year didn't feel like we had too many injuries, but then as like the years progressed, we got more and more, and now we see him kind of going back to his roots, like as he said with Sean Payton, like, okay, maybe we need to tone it down a little bit because they're not in full pads right now. They got rid of the rookie mini camp as well, so it seems like he's kind of retracing through like his own experiences as well, kind of seeing it from the outside in when he was with Sean Payton in New Orleans to now here in Detroit, saying like, okay, now it's time to tone it down. The injury list is just way too much. And, it's kind of like him retracing his words in a way.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat like Sean Payton just speaking from his experience as a head coach, basically like, oh, Dan, you know, I've been through this. I've put my players through a lot, and I've had to take a step back before. So, you know, like, Dan, I know that you're, you know, everything is balls to the wall, but, you know, it's good to recognize that he can learn from those mistakes, just like Sean Payton, you know, probably had to do previously in his career.
Yeah, 1,000%, man. And Dan Campbell's a guy that's trying to get better and better and better. And by doing that, he's trying to make sure his players get better from year 1 to year 2, from year 2 to year 3. When we come back from commercial break, we have Dan Campbell talking about some of the players that I know you guys are keeping an eye on, whether it's Christian Mahogany, whether it's Isaac Tesla. There are a couple guys, and he got some sound on him I think you will like. But first, let's get out here. Let's get a message in from All Day.
That's right, man. It's summertime, so it's IPA time. And the king of the IPAs is the All Day IPA from Founders Brewing, celebrating its 15-year anniversary, in fact. 4.7% alcohol by volume. When you combine that with its citrusy, crisp, and refreshing taste, you've got a perfectly balanced beverage for your summer. So next time you're watching a game or just taking in some sun, take it in with some All Day IPA from Founders, but make sure that you drink it responsibly.
Jahmyr Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around. The next next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
Hey guys, remember Rip Hamilton telling you all about it? Honestly, for about 3 decades, we've been hearing about our friends over at the Yaldo Eye Center because they have been doing it for over 30 years, and they have over 100,000 successful procedures. We're talking about LASIK surgery, perfectly painless, 8-minute procedure. You're in and out, and it's such a fast recovery that the majority of people are seeing 20/20 by the next day. And it does not matter how bad your eyesight is, regardless of your prescription. They're going to set you up with a deal of $16.99 per eye. You just can't beat that. Head on over to YaldoEyeCenter.com today, and you want to put in that /1699 to take advantage of this amazing summer promotion. Invest in yourself. Invest in your eyes with the Yaldo Eye Center.
I want to ask about the left guard position. We've seen Christian Mahogany line up there for most of OTAs that we saw. What are your expectations for him entering year 3, and how open do you view that left guard position competition?
Yeah, it's open, and look, Mahogany's very much in that. You know, I mean, he played a couple of games for us in 24, and then he started for us until he had the injury, came back, started again. And so we know he's got ability, he's got potential. But there's a reason why we brought in Bartz. There's a reason why Frazier's here. There's a reason why all those guys are in there. You know, we may try Manu a little bit. I mean, we're going to let this thing go and see what happens. You know, and it'll be good. It'll be good for all of them. You know, when you have somebody nipping at your heels or constantly you're having to compete with and push and you guys are all competing for the same thing, it's good for everybody. So, but yeah, he's in the running, and we expect him to compete, you know, and we expect him to put his best foot forward and play some of his best football.
Welcome back to the Braylon Edwards Show on Woodward Sports 2.0. Dan Campbell talking about Christian Mahogany. Last year, Christian Mahogany just was not necessarily – he didn't necessarily make the mark at his job at left guard. 59%. 59% is what he graded out, and that's through multiple sources. He was abysmal in the pass game. 40% of that is the pass game, and then 69% in the run game. So better in the run game than the pass, but he's got to be better. What I love about this conversation, B-Lad, I want to come to you first on this one. What I love about this conversation is legitimately, we just heard Sean Payton talk about Dan Campbell speaks his mind, and what he says is how he feels. He talked about Christian Mahogany. He said, yeah, we know what he can do. We know he has the potential to do.
Yeah.
But this is why we brought in Bartz. This is why we brought in Frazier. This is why we may try Manu. He's letting you know that, look, at the end of the day, what that offensive line was last year can't be this year, and there's not that much wiggle room.
Yes, and it's kind of a signal saying, like, your job isn't safe, but that's not the point that I'm going to take here. When he was a rookie back in 24, I know that he was surrounded by a lot better guys.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys that knew what they were doing. You had Decker, you had Ragnow, etc. And that energy feeds off into how you play. You want to play like them. You are constantly learning from them at the end of the day. Every single game, every single practice, every single rep that he takes, he is learning from those guys. last year you didn't have those guys. Decker was hurt for a good majority of the year, and obviously you didn't have Ragnow. He tried to make the comeback, but he couldn't. And so that kind of had Mahogany's role increase. And it almost felt like to me that the pressure got a little bit too hard on him. The lights were a little bit too bright, and he took a step back. And I'm just going to point out how it is. He was not good last year on an offensive line that, as a unit, that was not good. But I'm glad that Campbell added the depth there, added the competition there as well, because that can also give him a chip on his shoulder, light a fire underneath him, give him a spark that he needs, because in 24 he was pretty good as a rookie and not seeing the field all that much. But like every time he stepped in there, he was doing his thing. And that's what they want back from him, and that's what we all want back from him, quite frankly. We need him on that side of the O-line because Goff took way too many hits last year.
Yeah, 1,000%. I remember when I was in Cleveland, I got drafted in 2005, the wide receiver position, and we weren't necessarily a deep wide receiver room. There was not a lot of tutelage. There was not a lot of mentorship in that room. There were a bunch of guys that were out for self. It is what it is, so I had to learn through my coaching, but that's where I come. It's the coach. Hank Fraley is one of the best coaches in the NFL. Hank Fraley is a guy that played this position. Best offensive lineman coach in the league. He's a guy that played this position at a high level with the Browns and the Eagles. You saw what he was able to do with this offensive line, whether it was talented or not. That's where we want to see the growth out of the players, is the growth through the head coach this year, Anson.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this guy, Mahogany, you got to remember, this is a 6th-round pick. Maybe could have been a 3rd-round pick. There's differing grades on him. He had the legs that weren't the same size, and he looked like a steal. To B-Lad's point, he was surrounded by talent his first year, and any of his shortcomings were kind of covered up by that. But then last year, the whole of the offensive line struggled. Last year, he was not the worst player on the offensive line.
No, he wasn't.
So nobody was going to unseat him. Yeah,
absolutely.
And then you, at the end of it, you look now this year, and it's like that's the competition spot, because he is the worst offensive lineman that we have, assuming Blake Miller's good, of course. But we talked about competition. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell both talked about how the competition was going to improve everybody here. Listen, Mahogany may not be your starter, and that's okay if that's how it ends up shaking out, because I do think the other names mentioned, they're all right in line with kind of the same ability. So I think that this competition's healthy for this offensive line. I think the other 4 spots are set, but you got to compete for this one. Mahogany's not written in ink.
Yeah, it's not written in ink, but right now I don't care what round he was drafted in. Like, he's the starter. He's the guy, and that's why I love the fact that that Dan is letting you know, hey, look, he's the guy. We know he has potential. We know what he can do. We've seen some of those things before he got injured, etc. Basically, he's a starting point, but we are not going to waste 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, 7 games, however long it is for him to figure it out. Yep. We got other guys. We're locked and loaded.
100%.
You got 2 games to figure it out, and if that can't be the case, then we need to move in a different direction, because we got to find the 5 guys that are going to be the continuity anchors of what this team could be and what it used to be.
Absolutely, man. I look at Mahogany as having that opportunity to reach back to his rookie season with a new, younger, more talented line. You put Panay on the left, I think that everything gets better with that.
Undoubtedly.
So I really think that he is going to be your guy. But if he's not, again, like you said, week 5, week 8, if there is a move made, it will make the line better. And I don't think that anybody needs to worry about that.
Yeah, 1,000%. You're talking about moving in terms of upgrading from a guy that's a decent left tackle, injured, older, moving on, to a guy that's the best right tackle in the game, now moving to left tackle. So that definitely should enhance what the left side of that line looks like. One of the names that you won't stop hearing about and that you guys are wanting to see more of this season, and it's rightfully so, is Isaac Tesla. Yeah. We can't say his name enough. Talked to Calvin with him as well, and Calvin is excited to see what Isaac Tesla can be. He talked about having that big receiver with the big playability, the jumping over guys, the mossing, the fade balls, the back shoulders, and things of that nature. Calvin's excited. I wonder why, Calvin, because he plays much like yourself. But here's your fearless leader talking about year 2 wide receiver Isaac Tesla.
I know he looks at it like there's a lot of meat left on the bone,
and he
but
did.
the credibility
he got a little bit
now
better every week
with that team, what you're getting.
He became a guy, I would tell you, by the end of the year, we had a lot of trust in. We believed he could do a lot of jobs. He's just steady. He's steady. He's consistent for a young guy. He doesn't get frazzled. And, and I mean this as a compliment. like what he's done out here in the spring, phase 2, OTAs, all that. It's just been there's been nothing like flashy about it, and that's a good thing. I mean, he is just consistent, and where we expected him to be at this point, this time for year 2, is exactly where we want him, and I'd say probably even a little bit more, man. You're impressed. He feels like a veteran right now,
Feels like a veteran right now. Where he was, where we thought he was going to be, he's excelled. He's passed. It's not flashy. Basically what that means is he's not going out there and just catching one-hand catches. Yeah. And then not necessarily running the routes at the right depth, missing passes in the immediate, not necessarily knowing the plays. This is a guy that's impressive, and what I love about Dan Campbell at the podium, he's very honest, because he told us the same conversation when he was tracking Jamison Williams on what Jamison was going to be year to year, camp to camp, where he was at. Listening to him talk about Isaac Tesler, we are going to see a lot more of him this year. Because even think about it, that trust that he's talking about that he built through the year, last year, who was the ball thrown to the Pittsburgh Steelers with a chance to beat them and maybe sneak into the playoffs? Who did they give that opportunity to?
One catch he needed to have, man.
But I'm not even worried about the drop. It's the fact that they trusted him in that spot.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they went to him in that spot. Isaac Tesler is going to see an upgrade in terms of usage this year.
Oh, well, and we saw that upgrade in terms of usage in the last year. After a couple of injuries to the receiver core, this guy went from not seeing 50% of snaps all season long, and then that last month, I believe he was over 70% in each game. So the trust is there. I go back to Brad's words after the draft. He said this was his favorite receiver, not necessarily the best receiver. And as we talked about yesterday, guys, this is a young man coming from Hillsdale, where the scheming and the offensive routes and all of that, they're not asking him to do a whole lot.
Go long.
Then it's right, and do it fast.
Yeah.
Then you get to the SEC team like Arkansas, not a team that's got the most intricate passing.
Seam.
Exactly. Yeah. So then you take them to the NFL, and I mean the learning curve from one lower level college to the SEC to the NFL. Wow, this guy's already getting heavy snaps at the end of his rookie season. So to be able to see a guy come in that's your favorite receiver, and when I hear that, I got to go back to that. It's because he's got the grit, he's got the passion. You know he's going to be a hard worker, and he's ready to block. All that extra stuff for them was extra, just gravy that they figured they'd realize maybe at some point this rookie year, hopefully in year 2 or 3. But I think we saw an early glimpse of it, and we got more than I think probably most guys coming in that position would end up being able to provide with those receivers in front of him. But now this guy has shown that we talked about it yesterday. I'm sorry, I might be crazy, but there is a real opportunity for this guy to be wide receiver 1 on this team 2 years from now. Am I crazy for that, Bray?
Look, man, I'm not going to say anybody's crazy in this day and age. 1, it's dismissive, and then 2, you just never know. You never know how things shake out with things. I would say I don't think so, but I don't know. I will ask this question. Can this be the best wide receiver core without a doubt in the NFL? Because we talked about it a little bit before. If you're starting to add just receiver and what that means, Sam Laporte is one of the best tight ends in the league when he's healthy. And we actually have some not sound, we have something on that in the next segment. But you got Sam Laporte and Jahmyr Gibbs, who bring
pass catchers.
Exactly, who bring up the anchor of Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's one of the best spacing wide receivers in the league, has some of the best hands in the NFL, and just knows the moment, owns the moment. Jamison Williams is arguably the fastest wide receiver in the league, and you see him running routes. The intermediate now looks good. The downfield looks good. The play action looks good. The intent and the focus is there. And then you got an X guy, B-Lad, and the receiver skills that he possesses. They have every single wide receiver skill in that room.
I'm so glad you brought this up because yesterday me and Anson were kind of touching on this a little bit here, and I had put Dallas and Cincinnati over us, but now getting a chance to sit back and zoom out a little bit, like how much deeper we are as far as like pass catchers go, like you just put it. And I was sitting back here yesterday thinking
2 is different than 5.
I wish I would have just said we were the best in the league. Like I was like, now looking back at it, like I was totally wrong, and I get a chance to rebuttal now. 100% we're the best in the league when it comes to having the best pass catching core in the NFL. There's no other team deeper than us.
The Rams would be the only comparable, and that's because
yes.
they have a bevy of tight ends,
Yes.
Parkinson, Higbee. You got Kyron out of the backfield, Blake. But then you have.
But I like
Devontae.
Dallas too with Flournoy, and the reason why I put
They got two
Cincinnati
tight
is
ends,
because they
too.
have Ferguson and I forgot the other
Schoonmaker.
guy's name. Yes,
Come
Michigan.
on,
there we
man.
go.
You know what time
there we
it
go.
is.
It was off the top of my head, but
Yes,
and
sir.
then Cincinnati, they don't really have the tight end power, but they got 3 dogs at receivers. So
And Chase Brown is
Chase Brown can catch
elite
the ball.
out of the
Hell
backfield.
yes, he is.
Exactly. So
Now there's one team that I hate to put in this, but the Gary Bears. The Gary Bears could end up having that.
Well,
I gotta see what that wide receiver core is
For
gonna
real
look like.
though, but you count their tight ends, you count a little DeAndre Swift.
Who's their wide receiver number 1 right now? Because I'm hearing Luther Burden is going back and
Romo
forth
Dunze.
with Roma Dunze.
He's going 43 overall in fantasy drafts, and Dunze doesn't go till 60.
yeah, I believe
Plus.
that too. But
That's probably because of the matchups they're looking at.
Well, and he says he's injured. He says he's not right.
the
Gotcha.
report's saying that Brandon Ayuk is the betting favorite to go to Green Bay. So you call it how you want it.
That's a bomb. What is
and nobody touch our pass catchers, man.
I will say this, and we'll get to commercial break. One man's trash is another man's treasure, realistically.
Yeah, facts.
and if you look at that Green Bay situation, he can be something completely different than you view him right now. So before you be like,
could see
Brandon
him in a Packers
Ayuk,
jersey, too.
if somebody gives you an opportunity in this league, you legitimately turn around. And Antonio Brown was 1 foot out the league, and then he had a Super Bowl title. It happens fast.
The shirt was one man's
right.
trash, and now it's my treasure.
You know what? But everybody knows your name. Just like Planet Fitness, where your fitness is
B-Lad learned
essential.
that.
2,700 locations around this country. It's the gym for you. Everybody wants a shot at Planet Fitness, so why don't you? You come in, trainers on staff, the gym is squeaky clean, and there's no judgment. Home of the judgment-free zone. With 2,700 gyms around this country, there's definitely one right near you. Start, continue, finish your journey, and do it at Planet Fitness.
The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports. Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Whether you're buying a home or refinancing, the team at the state's title agency, they just do it the best, and they make the closing process simple and convenient. There's some more of those words that we talk about: simple, convenient, simplicity, convenience. That's what you want in life. You want to hear those words. You know what other word you want to hear is experience. Over 20 years of experience in this game, they know what they are doing. They are dialed in to making sure you have what you need the way you need it. Combine that with NB's expertise, they can guide any title or escrow transaction to a smooth landing. Let's not play any games. You know where you're going, refinancing or buying. Let's go to State Title Agency. For all your title needs, call Mr. Deeds. And we are back. How's everybody doing today? I feel like the weather has been holding up for us. We got a little bit of rain, and for all my people out there that garden, plant flowers, etc., it was good for us. But the weather has been amazing. 79 degrees and sunny. I take that every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, last week it got a little hot. I know. Sweet Potato Texas
just
over there was
loving
it.
Just a tad bit.
You know, on Sunday I looked at the weather.
No clouds.
And I was like, man, this is pure Michigan, because you went from like straight 80s to straight 70s.
But a little chill.
I liked the early warmth in late May.
Like, yeah, 1,000%, man. And it has a little chill in there this morning when I woke up. Yesterday, woke up for the golf course. I was like, okay. So I'm going to throw on the quarter zip with the shorts. You know what I'm saying? Styling and profiling, wheeling and dealing, kids stealing.
Were they rule shorts? Did you have a...
No. There's a thigh meat level. Like there's a certain only a certain amount.
Working.
Now there was an individual in our team. Shout out to my boy. I ain't gonna put your name out here. B Lad. Now his thigh meat showing was a little egregious. Like he was actually past nil rule, I believe. The other guy that was in our group with the curly hair.
Oh, yes.
See, there it is. That's the reaction I was looking for.
Yeah. I was
like,
confused
egregious.
First, it was like
boxer short level,
like platinum level thigh showing there.
I was like, if you're gonna wear an outfit like that, and you got like you legitimately better be piping the ball 335, and you better be like.
It was low key too cold for all that too. I'm not gonna lie, that wind picked up.
It was
I'm
chill.
Like, no, bro, that gotta be cold.
Ah man, I'm trying to say, what's going on, Gordo, man? Appreciate you joining the show, man.
Hey, happy to be here, man.
Always a pleasure.
Happy to be here.
You always had a good energy too.
No doubt.
Well, you know what? I've worked a lot of different jobs, and nothing's been as fun as coming in and doing this with you guys, doing something I'm passionate about.
That's a true damn story.
Yeah, no, it's a blessing to be here.
And we met him first.
Definitely is a blessing.
We met him first.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I came in with the pizza that day.
What a legendary move, bro.
I thought to this day, I didn't think he was DoorDash. I thought he worked with Buddies because our partnership with Buddies. So I thought Buddies sent Gordo over there to bring some pizzas, let us know what the new deals were, and we're gonna show it on the show. Nah, that was G making it happen. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you want something in life, put forth some effort. Go get it. Make it happen, because it endeared him to the network, and now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is sitting on the desk having some, and he knows his stuff.
He sat there standing there for like a whole segment, and finally we get to the commercial. He's like, "Bro, just take it to the kitchen." He's like, "Oh no, I want an internship."
Yeah, 100%.
You're hired.
You know who does not have an internship is our guy, Mike Kafka. We talk about Isaac Tesla. We talk about all these individuals that are going to make this offense the thing again, the receiver core, and Jared Goff. Well, we need a guy that knows what he's doing in the passing game. That's why Mike Kafka was brought here to be the passing game control individual. Well, here's Mike Kafka talking about what he's seen so far out of the Detroit Lions, as well as your quarterback.
Starting with the offensive line, I've been really impressed with that group and what Hank has done with that group and how they communicate. And then Jared, being in the room with Jared, he's phenomenal, and he's one of those guys that I've had a ton of respect for from the outside. And I think, you look at him, this guy's like a sniper. He's into it. He's got great command in the huddle at the line of scrimmage. He's so accurate. I didn't really realize how accurate he was still being out here and seeing the anticipation, the velocity, the timing, the ball placement, all those things that go into the pass game, and watching him operate has been really impressive.
Now, the very first thing that Mike Kafka said was Hank Fraley and that offensive line. It's the very first thing he mentioned when talking about the offensive line. We're talking about the offense. We're going to talk about that in the second part of this. I want to start with his impression of Jared Goff. You would think watching film he knew all these things, but Anson, it seems like he's even more excited than when he signed the dotted line.
Yeah, you called him an intern, or I said he wasn't one. And honestly, I think everybody, including us, we've been a little confused on how this is going to work.
The power dynamic.
The two chefs in the kitchen, him and Petsy. He's supposed to be here to be the quarterback whisperer, from what I'm gathering. And this sound clip, it further emboldens my thoughts on that, because that's what we need. We need that Ben Johnson, that guy that's over there scheming and constantly, chatting with Jared Goff, because Jared Goff is not mobile and he's not fast, but
he's accurate.
He might be the second best quarterback over the last 4 years in the NFL. Statistically, he actually is. And it's not because he's fast. It's not because he's some great athlete. It's because of that. And so when you get a guy in here, and Mike Kafka, who is supposedly that also, he's the mind, the offensive mind, that is what we lacked last year. That's what we lost in Ben Johnson when he went to now Gary, Indiana. So having that.
Hey man, how dare you disrespect Michael Jackson? How dare you?
Having those two guys together, you might see something unlocked in Jared Goff. And realistically, Stickler is loving this one somewhere. Jared Goff teeters in that MVP conversation the last few years. And then there's that bad game in week 11 or bad game in week 12 or whatever it is that kind of takes him solely out of the conversation. Maybe Kafka can prevent that.
Yeah, he teeters in that line. The two things that have to happen for him in that conversation. One, he has to have that game where the game was definitively his.
Yes.
Not necessarily where he's doing his thing, he's got a ton of stats, but you break it down on the offense, you're like, man, if Jahmyr Gibbs didn't do this, if Amon-Ra St. Brown does it, he has to have that game. The second thing, that defense has got to play for him. If you want to win that MVP, the defense has got to play for him. But getting back to the Mike Kafka situation, that impression, you would think he's watched film. Like when you listen to him, he said, I was surprised how much of a sniper he was, or he's in point. It's how he runs the line. You would think he watched film and knew that. But that's not how the game is played. You can't just get a feel for something by watching it on TV. Yeah. You know what he can't get a feel for? How fast he gets out of the huddle to the line of scrimmage. How fast he deciphers when it switches to coverage. How fast he gets guys, how guys plays, how guys response. What's he like on the sideline? What's he like in the huddle? What's he like in film study? B-Lad, there is a lot that you have to see for yourself. Like, you know who Peyton Manning was in terms of being University of Tennessee and this, that, and the third. It's not till he gets to Indianapolis and you see him take over an offense that you really know who that guy is.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up as well, because that's exactly what I was thinking on the whole. He didn't, maybe didn't get that feel while watching film, but in person it's a completely different story. And that's one of the main things too, especially from my experience playing at the collegiate level. Coaches pay attention to that so much. And if it's not fast and quick and they're making adjustments on the fly and they're not taking control, they get pretty pissed off. Like, I've seen some of my coaches absolutely blow up on some of the quarterbacks that we've had that are extremely disciplined players. They know their ins and outs, and they're really not necessarily doing anything wrong. They're just not fast. And that, that takes time, and especially throughout camp. That's going to be kind of the main thing that they're looking for, because in those kind of situations where it's tense, you don't have a lot of time, they're getting the play calls in through the headset. We didn't have headsets where I played, but we still had signals getting out to the QB. It's all systematic and it's all full operation. As the more efficient you can do that, the more they're going to trust you with certain things too. And I think that Kafka is starting to realize, like, okay, this isn't a rookie that I'm dealing with, or this isn't, an aged veteran that kind of has a bunch of new guys around him, so it's hard for him to adjust to their stuff as well. Jared Goff already has this unlocked. He's been playing with these guys for the last 3 to 4 years, under Ben Johnson, obviously, and last year under Dan Campbell. But Kafka having to come in here and not necessarily have to demand all that stuff from him right away, that I guarantee you that brought like absolute joy to him. Like, okay, this is a guy that I know knows what he's doing. I can trust him.
Yeah, shut up. I didn't want to rush you.
No, you're good.
Didn't just want you to rush through that point. There's a lot of meat on this bone as it relates to Kafka. I know Anson has something to say as well. So let's take a quick commercial break. We'll pay some bills. We'll reset. When we come back, we'll finish the conversation that is. Also, shout out to a legend in the building, another that wore number 1, if you will. My guy's in the building. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's get a message in from BlackRock. Looking for a spot to have events, to host events, to do the grad parties, to do the graduation, prom parties, all those things. Look no further than Black Rock Bar and Grill. All around the states, top rock experience. The service is excellent, and then they want to make sure you feel good. They want to make sure you come and enjoy the spot. So pull up, go to blackrockrestaurants.com. When you go there, they'll give you all the information that you need. They are a sizzle above the rest, so make sure you visit the home of the Steak on the Stone.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
Join Detroit City FC for a weeknight under the lights as El Paso Locomotive and Ted Lasso's Danny Rojas come to town Wednesday, June 10th at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets now at DebtCityFC.com.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Hey, you guys know I love this one. I love me some Loom, guys, and I want you to let Woodward Sports be your plug. They've got 40 locations throughout Michigan, and when you use that QR code above my head, when you head over to loom.com, we're going to save you 30% off your next order. But Loom's going to hook you up too. Your first trip, they're going to really give you some good free stuff. It's actually your first 3 trips. They're going to hook you up with some free stuff. The Buzz and Energy drinks, you hear us talk about them all the time. You want to go and try one yourself, head on over to that spot, the Berkeley one at 12 and Woodward. My favorite spot, ask for MJ. But get your hookup at loom.com.
All right, we're back. Continuing the conversation, it is the Detroit Lions talking about the offensive side of the ball. Mike Kafka was at the podium today. He gave some good insight, talking about his thoughts on Jared Goff, as well as his thoughts on the offensive line and Hank Fraley. Do me a favor, put that quote up if you will. This was Hank Fraley. Okay, this is Hank Fraley talking about his offensive line. If you look back at last year, we weren't as consistent as we needed to be. He just said we need to be better and move on from the mistakes. He also went on to say that last year wasn't the lack of talent issue. It was that's where I was going, and that's where I was thoughts. He said it wasn't a lack of talent issue, it was a lack of consistency. Well, 100% I think the things go together, but that's why I thought it was very interesting that Mike Kafka came out talking about Hank Fraley very first in that interview. What do you make of the conversation talking about Hank Fraley and seeing how good they were and all the things and calling it out? This is just him throwing a little nod to his his offensive line coach, or is this, him being the truth?
I mean, it's OTA's company speak right there. You're not gonna you're not gonna throw the guys that left under the bus. You've already got your little feud with Dak and all those guys, doing their social media thing with Anzo. So you don't want to pour any fuel on that fire by any means. When you look at the talent, there's nobody in the NFL or Detroit that believes that statement. The fact of the matter is you had old guys that can't get a job right now anywhere else. Nobody wants them, all right? You take the best right tackle in the league, you put him back in his natural position. You use your first pick on your other bookend. How are you not better than you were last year? Yeah. But I don't want to get too much into that. That's what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to protect your guys. You're supposed to protect the performance they had last year. But both things can be true because the consistency and communication, it was not there, and it was evident in week 1 against the Packers.
Okay, but let me ask you this. On the flip side of that, if it's not a talent issue, then that means it's a coaching issue.
Oh, yeah.
That means the coaching issue.
And that coach is gone.
You talk about, the offensive line coach is still here.
Yep.
The offensive line coach is still here. You talk about the inconsistency. This guy playing with that guy. The consistent for the offensive line last year was Hank Fraley. So when he comes out and says it's not a talent issue, well, then that means it's on you to make sure this offensive line is better.
And that's another thing, too, and I'm going back to what I was dealing with a little bit in college as well, is we lost our head coach, so our offensive coordinator then became our head coach. Last year, the Lions lost their offensive coordinator. Dan Campbell took over the play calling. So it's kind of a really, obviously, Braylon, you know this too, is the O-line coach is always hanging out with the offensive coordinator because they're always together. They're always scheming together. Like the offensive line coach doesn't just mean he coaches the O-line skill.
Nope.
He's involved in the run game, like 50%, even maybe more than that, the majority of the time, especially when you look at guys in motion and pulling and stuff like that. So I know how that is where you are on a disconnect between the offensive coordinator and the O-line coach. Schemes start getting messed up. Obviously, Dan Campbell calling the plays. They still had John Morton in the building helping out with the play calling and stuff like that, but it's all not going to be, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. He was still in the building, in quotes. But there's a disconnect there, and I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest that these O-line were in some of the games and they were messing up schemes. Like they were messing up the plays because they weren't all in because of so many moving pieces going on with the offense and stuff like that. And it's crucial to have your coaches there along with you, especially when you're trying to run plays like that in the NFL and the O-line being on that level. So yes, there could be having something to do with Hank Fraley as the coach, but it's not necessarily like his fault at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's just what I took from it.
No, that's fair, and that's real. I know Hank personally. He's a former teammate of mine, man, so I know he definitely knows his job. Just throwing it out there like, hey, look, Hank, if it's not a talent issue, then what type of issue is it out of that offensive line? But excited to see Kafka because I think there was one of those things where we were waiting to hear from him, waiting to see what he is. Everything right now is about Drew Petzing. It's Drew Petzing, whether it's how he looks or what he says or 13 personnel or blah, 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 what he is, what he isn't. It was good to see Mike Kafka in his zone at the podium and have some conversation about his quarterback. Quarterback and that passing game coordinator, when they get simpatico, man, you can see some special things.
Yeah, well, and it's back to your point about how you don't know a guy just from watching his play on the field. You got to get into the locker room. You got to, get in the film room and having those conversations to really understand his IQ. And that's what we supposedly understand about Mike Kafka is this is a really high-level IQ in terms of offensive play. So when those two they mesh like that, and he's excited about the way that Jared Goff sees the game. It's very clear that when Ben Johnson left town, Jared did not have that. So, yeah, if these two guys are able to create that relationship, that's going to be huge for a possible MVP-style season from Jared Goff. Even further, though, I just didn't know what this guy was going to be for our team. So it is really nice to start hearing and seeing some things from him.
Pass game coordinator, baby.
Yeah, 100%. And it seems like he's a PG1 with that passing game.
I guess
passing game one. The last thing I'll say, and we'll go to commercial break, and then I'll bring a two-time NBA champ who is a favorite here. He's my brother. And you guys love him, and you know him very well at this network. But when you talk about being able to see it in person, like Kafka's talking about Jared Goff, I remember the first time, I saw Peyton Manning up close and personal. When I saw it up close and personal, it's at the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl is not serious. Pro Bowl, you go out there legitimately, practices 30. But in terms of the preparation for it, was never serious. 30-minute practice. By 10 o'clock, we're drinking Mai Tais at the pool. Everybody's having a good time. We're sitting there kicking it, and you're enjoying the fruits of hard work. Not that joker Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning had practice humping. We was only out there 45 minutes, but we knew the schemes, we knew the plays. He was calling the hot routes, the same stuff that you see on Madden. Omaha. He was doing this shit in practice. Excuse my French. I'm like, bro, I'm trying. My parents waiting for me at the pool. I'm year 3. But the intensity and to be able to see it in person, now I had a different respect for what I was watching on TV. I say that to say that's what he's talking about, Jared Goff. It's one thing to see the timing on TV. It's one thing to see the stats. It's another thing to see how you get there. How do you get from one spot to another? But that is another conversation for another day. Look, we'll take a quick commercial break. We're here a little bit out of Thrive, and we'll get in the man, the myth, the legend, Lindsey Hunter.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you a little bit about that Thrive, baby. You got to put down those energy drinks. Got to put down those coffees because they are rotting your gut and bad for your heart. But it's time to upgrade your game with Thrive Energy. We were thrived up all last week. We're actually, at least I am thrived up today. But this isn't Yo Daddy's Dip, Anson and Cam. It's a tobacco-free, nicotine-free mental powerhouse packing 300 milligrams of clean, smart caffeine. No jitters, no sugar crash, and zero bloating. Thrive can be found at dipstop.com. Remember to use your promo code WSN for 15% off your entire order, and exclusively at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. thrive, clean energy, 0 distractions, and they just effing work, y'all.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Join Detroit City FC for a weeknight under the lights as El Paso Locomotive and Ted Lasso's Danny Rojas come to town Wednesday, June 10th at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets now at DebtCityFC.com.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Yo, welcome to the second hour of the show in 20 minutes, man. Proud to bring in my guy, big brother, 2-time NBA champ, 17 years in this game, or 5 teams, I want to say, or 6. I don't know. Enough teams.
Only one that matters.
Enough teams to know he knows what the hell he's doing, and he will forever be a Detroit Pistons. Lindsay, what's up, my guy?
What up, though?
Shit, you got it, man. What's new, man? What's new in your world? Always good to see you.
Man, it's good to be back here. It's changed a little bit.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Since the times you were on the desk doing things together over there in Birmingham, now it's over here in Royal Oak, man. Got a big studio, got a nice file on Woodward Sports 2.0, man.
Right. Like it. I like it.
Woodward Sports 2.0, doing our thing, man. A lot to talk about. We know you got a little time, so I'll merge it into a small space. NBA, let's start there. Where we at? Championship has been crowned, and it is New York Knicks. What were your thoughts on the series? And then, I'll let you go first. What were your thoughts on the series? Jalen Brunson, 5-1, MVP, the whole 9 yards. Wemby falling short, looking like they may have choked down the line or not. What are your thoughts on NBA Finals?
Well, first of all, I didn't want the Knicks to win.
Yeah, nobody did. I agree.
Peasants. I want the Knicks to win.
I agree.
And it made me feel even more that way when I saw how their fans were acting.
Sir.
I was like, they don't deserve the win.
Sir.
But you know what? I gotta give Mike Brown credit. I gotta give Jalen Brunson credit. Those guys, man, they had an incredible run.
Dispelled the myth. The small backcourt.
Well, that's just people talking, man. People always say, hey, you can't win a championship if your smallest player is your best player. It just depends on the team. It depends on how you structure your team. You see how they structured their team. They had Cat, who's a big guy that you can play through. They had a lot of wings that were ranging long. OG Anunoby was phenomenal the entire run.
Man. Swiss Army knife.
They put a great team together. And that's what it's about. Like, if you got a guy, like Chauncey was our best player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Rip was our best player throughout the season. He averaged the most points.
Yeah.
Rasheed was our most talented player. You know?
You got pissed off. You knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah.
But when you put a team together, New York put a extremely versatile, team together that could play anybody. And it showed throughout the playoffs. So, Brunson was he was a killer. He was their best player. Down the stretch, he was their closer. He closed every playoff game we watched.
Yeah.
And I think that just, that helps a lot of guys, my size and under, who people think, well, you can't base your team around a short guy. Well, you can. And it's short. It's relatively short.
Yeah.
In the NBA, we're short. In the real world, I'm a pretty
my height.
big guy.
My height. And in my sport, they like, man, you tall.
Exactly.
Like,
when I start seeing the D-backs, I'm like, dang, these D-backs look. I'm a big guy in there. I'm a
now
pretty
you
good
excited.
receiver.
Now you actually play this sport. You're a football dude anyway, man. We'll get to
football's my first love.
We may get to those 49ers. We may get to those 49ers. Before we talk about the alien, the 7'5" alien, and where he went wrong and where he went right and what that conversation is, bring it back to the city of Detroit. When you look at how the New York Knicks are constructed, when you look at how you just talk about that makeup, you talk about what they're able to do. What do the Pistons need to do to get on that level? Because realistically,
we're not far.
Okay,
we're not far
there
at
it
all.
is.
We're not far at all. The fact of the matter, the Pistons match up with the Knicks better than anybody else.
Yes, sir.
Like, it's just it's a matchup game. And I hear some people say, well, if they couldn't beat them, we couldn't beat Cleveland. Well, Cleveland, we had problems matching up with two dominant scorers. With one dominant scorer, because the other dominant scorer never showed up, really.
He had 33 in LCA. And then he had like 5.
He had one game.
He had like 5.
Right. So that was kind of a problem for us. But the Pistons aren't far away, man. We're I think we're like two really good pieces away from being able to compete with anybody. And that's Knicks, that's Spurs, that's OKC.
Celtics.
We're right there. Like, we're right in the mix.
And what puts us over? Is it a trade? Is it free agency?
Well, I think it's a combination of both.
He was ready for that one.
It's a combination. It's a combination of, if it's the right trade, you can't give up too much. You can't take away from your core.
Knicks gave up a lot.
What's too much?
Yeah, but the Knicks already had what they, you know what I'm saying?
What's too much for this Pistons team after that?
Well, it depends on who you're going after.
Who do you want, Lindsay? Because they're asking in the chat. They're paying to ask you in the chat. They want to know. Shout out my Barry.
Well, see, I don't think you go. And I know Trajan is not the guy that's going to just go crazy. So people, if you think Trajan is going to go out here and go crazy trying to go get Kawhi Leonard,
Trey Murphy,
stop it.
Trey Murphy.
Public service
Trey Murphy's a different story.
Okay, talk about it.
Because Trey Murphy, he's not making the type of money that a guy like Kyrie or Kawhi's making.
You been hanging around Kool-Aid.
Trey, Trey's at like 21, 20. His salary will increase. You talking about guys like Kyrie and Kawhi? They're 40.
Yeah.
So now
I heard Devin Booker. I was like, y'all do know he made $55 million. It's like, what
are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like so. There are ways that I think they can do it. I think there's more conventional ways they can do it. If you go get a Trey Murphy, if you don't have to give up so much, and you can go out and get another guard that can, take some of the ball handling responsibilities. Maybe a Drew.
Who do you like?
I like Kobe White.
Somebody we should have gotten at this last deadline.
Yeah, but and he's played so well. I don't know if Charlotte's going to let him go. But he's a guy that if we could get him at that $15 million slide him right in, we'd be great. But there are a lot of different ways I think you can go about becoming a versatile team, because we're right there almost. We're going to sign our 2 young guys, which I know people are talking crazy about, but you got to sign these guys. You have to.
That's what the market did take.
You have to sign your own guys. If we would have signed them last year, we could have got Duran at $30 million a year. But guess what? We didn't. He gambled and he won. So you got to go
get me started on that one.
Go give him his $40 million a year. Bite your tongue and you'll be okay.
Here's a conversation Kool-Aid and I had during the year, postseason, and now postseason. Had the conversation. I want to bring you in on that. I'm going to phrase it in such a way you don't get in trouble. Why is JB Bickerstaff the right coach for the Detroit Pistons?
Well, I think if you watched how he transformed this team, because it was a lot of him.
Yeah.
It was a lot of him. And talking to the guys and talking to people around, they believe in JB, and JB is like a player's coach. Like, he takes up for his guys. He doesn't hang them out to dry, which you see a lot of coaches do, and he knows how to motivate them. Like, he's a guy that fits. Everybody doesn't fit. Mike Brown has been around the NBA for a long time.
Yeah, he has.
He's been a head coach in Cleveland. He got fired there. He was in Sacramento. He was an assistant at Golden State. LA. I mean, come on. But he didn't fit. But he got to New York, and guess what?
Fit.
It was a perfect fit.
He was so excited on that podium. He was,
who let the dogs out? That was the worst.
I was like, Mike, we were rooting for you.
Every part of all of their celebrations has been cringy as hell, man.
Yeah.
Like, the worst championships ever. The worst championships ever, man.
Anson hates
peasants,
the Knicks,
man.
you can tell.
They're the New York peasants, man. And right when you thought, okay, they ended 53 years, to your point, they burned their city down. They're peasants, man.
Well, they haven't won a championship since, what, 73?
Yes, sir.
You knew they were going to do that.
Yeah, it's the city.
One thing I can tell you, don't go to New York, okay?
I'm been over that city for a minute now, man.
But they had one super Spurs fan. You saw this guy, his last name is West.
Yeah, he's a 76ers fan.
He dressed up like a Spurs fan.
He put the Spurs thing on, dude. He was
Shout out
like
to
the
that Rocket
Hulk.
jersey.
But you heard he's a 76ers fan, right?
He said he liked the Spurs.
No, he's a 76ers fan that literally dressed up as a Spurs fan to go and beat peasant ass.
Dude, he was out there.
He was getting physical.
What?
I saw him getting active.
He moved the whole crowd, bro.
Nobody wanted any part of him.
What does he do for a living? Because he
beats peasant ass.
Exactly. He afforded the ticket, which is not cheap. And then he went out there and got a fight. So I really would like to know his background.
Well,
like,
they were talking to him, and he was just telling him, he was like, yeah, I got a little cut right here, but they didn't do nothing to me.
Nothing.
He's got to be a bouncer or something.
Yeah, he looks like a
bad
bouncer.
man.
Yeah, he's...
Bouncers ain't affording tickets to the NBA Finals. I'm telling you that. No disrespect.
He looked like Rod Allen out in Japan, man.
Them tickets were expensive.
Wild.
Shifting gears, I don't want to keep you here too long, man. Look, I appreciate your time as ever, my guy. I know you're a football fan, 49ers fan. Just like me growing up, I was a 49ers guy. Jerry Rice, Steve Young.
Lindsey think you support the Lions now, too.
I do.
But that was my question. Two questions. One, who's closer? 49ers and Lions this year, because I know you're a 49ers guy. Put some pressure on you. And thing two, what do you like most about what the Lions have done this offseason? Whether it was a player they drafted, whether it was a coach they hired, a move they made, something they even said. Who's closer, and what have you liked most?
Well, I think both teams were it's kind of a draw because
we don't do that. We don't do that here.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I like both teams. I can say
you can.
Here's the hard part about both teams. Every year they're both injured.
True.
This is true.
So
this is very true.
And in my mind, I'm trying to figure out, does Dan Campbell ever take the foot off the gas at some point and relax and say, hey guys, we're good enough right now. We're heading in the right direction. We've won X amount of games. We're up. Yeah. Let's back it off a little bit so we can try to stay healthy. Because his whole saying is balls to the wall. We going all out all the time.
Yes, sir.
This is true. I think the problem with that though is when you do that, you go 12-5, and then you go 15-2, and you think you have the ability to do that. Then you go 9-8, and shit goes upside down. So now you're in a situation where you have to temper that because. Yeah, you're doing your thing this year. You guys are 4 games in a row. Now you're 5-0. But I remember when I took the reins off and what happened last season. So I think you got to be careful.
Well, did he take the reins off?
Yeah.
I don't think he did. I don't think he took the reins off last year. I've never heard Dan Campbell say he was taking anything off of anybody.
It's funny because we had a clip of Sean Payton talking about him as an assistant coach telling Sean, hey, look, man, you need to back up a little bit. The players are going through it. Come on, take your own advice, big fella.
That's my point.
Take your own advice, big fella.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And I think the team has been talented enough to get it done. It's just, it's like basketball. We play 82 games, and we look at that as a badge of honor because I hear people saying, well, we need to cut it to 65. No.
Thank you.
It's a reason it's 82 games because
this is what it is.
Who can get through 82 games and then fight and win a championship? Like, that's part of the battle. It's the same thing in football. Like, can we get through and they study adding games, so I don't know.
I think, what could be good? You're absolutely right. I think they've gone away from the old guard. And now you have the new guard, and I think the new guard is different. When you got Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow, Alex Anzalone, those guys were just happy to win it. And it's no disrespect to them, but they come from losing. Everything in Detroit was losing. Alex Anzalone came from the Saints when they were losing. When you get a guy that's doing it right and you're winning, like, you don't care how hard you're practicing. You're not speaking up because you don't want the train to stop. But I think now Amon-Ra is the leader. He's the old man. Penei Sewell is the old man. Jack Campbell is the old man. They're gonna be like, look, coach. Like, look, man.
Well,
all that we was doing, like, we tired. We 7-1 right now. Like, we need a victory Monday. But they can say it because they were waiting for Taylor and they were waiting for Frank, and them guys ain't gonna say nothing.
Well, I think it's a balance. It's a perfect balance. Like, I just remember because we practiced hard. Like, when we won the championship, we were at each other's throats in practice. Like, guys came out with ripped shirts, cuts. And we laugh in the locker room like, yeah, I got you today. You know what I'm saying? But Larry Brown knew, like, okay, this time of the season, I got to cut back a little bit. Maybe we'll go an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we'll get out of here. I think every coach has to try to balance that. Like in football, I know it's even harder because it's a physical sport. Like, you know, you're in a car crash every play. You know, so it's a hard balance, but I think Dan Campbell has to figure that part out. Like, how can I get my team to be? And a lot of it is luck.
Yeah,
a lot of it's luck. You know, sometimes things
happen against your team. Off the face mask. Speaking of luck,
hey, but think about all the Super Bowls we've watched. Something happened that we was like, come on now.
Best thing about luck is when operation meets preparation.
Exactly.
I mean, when opportunity meets preparation. So you
exactly.
gotta prepare to be lucky.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's how you look at it. So it's a lot of things that factor into it. I think the Lions have an opportunity. The window is not closed.
Okay.
You know, I just what I don't like the Lions fans that has 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? Well, we haven't won. So what? If you don't have any faith, you'll never win.
That's right.
Like, come on. Well, I don't believe in our quarterback. Well, who's better? Who's better? Like, there aren't many quarterbacks that's better than what you got here.
It's stick around.
Right. So you can be mad about he can't run. Well, he can't run, Lindsey. Well, hopefully you don't have to run all the time.
That's right. Now with this new offensive
get better blocking.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part of it that I've never seen Peyton Manning. I've never seen none of those guys outrun anybody.
Nope. Out-fought, out-prepared.
Yeah, so
And
you
the
got
timing.
a quarterback that can get it done. It's just a matter of everything around him, you know, keeping everybody healthy around him. You know, he'll be fine. I want to see the Lions win the Super Bowl because I know everybody here has been dying for it. You know what I'm saying? And I know the city will go
Biggest
crazy.
party in the city's history, man.
Right, and so I think Detroit deserves that.
Okay, so this is how we're gonna end this one. We're gonna circle back to the original question: who, regardless of injuries, is going to have the better record and the better finish this season?
Bray, it doesn't matter who has the better record.
Oh my God!
Get him. It's about winning the Super Bowl.
Oh my. Okay, so this is you being able to play both sides.
Who goes further in the playoffs?
There you go. How about that? Because that's what I was asking.
That depends on.
That
depends on where they're ranked.
Are you running in 2030? Are you running in 2030? I just want to know because your politician game is fire right now.
Very diplomatic.
He's got the finger. Well, just want to tell you, on this side you have. All right, Lindsey. Look, man.
No. Don't let him get out of here. Don't let him get out of here. The chat.
Okay.
Chat's got some questions. First and foremost, Blimpy, I agree. Lindsey would have locked Jalen Brunson.
No doubt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No doubt about it.
Facts. I'm keeping them right every time. They kept letting them go left. I'm yelling. Keep them right. Keep them right.
And the NBA refs would have fouled your ass out. Beep, I ain't even touching. Beep, technical foul. Beep, double take. You out of here.
6. I'm gonna give all 6 of them. I'm using all 6.
You don't need them this day and age. You can't even. This is the thing we didn't get to. And I know Anson has the chat. This is the thing we didn't get to. We talked last week. You don't even watch the NBA Finals anymore to see the best play or to see who's going to win or to see who can weather the storm for 7 games. You watch the NBA Finals to see how the game is going to be manipulated in such a pace that it goes 7 games.
Yeah, he got to be careful with this one. Too much? He got to be careful with that one.
Talk your talk.
It just seems.
I'm going to straighten you out.
All right, straighten me out because I watch the game and I'm seeing calls that aren't calls sometimes. And they're called sometimes, and you try to keep it going. Like, where am I wrong in that?
So every sport that we look at the refs and say there are certain things that they did to cause certain things to happen. Every game, football, they can call holding every time in football.
Fair.
Am I right or wrong?
They said tempo, yes.
But sometimes they only call it on one team.
Yeah, if they want. If they get the call from New York,
the Chiefs never get a holding call.
Never.
That's true. But you don't see like Patrick Mahomes like go run over a another player like after the penalty and like not call the penalty.
I've seen Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs get away with murder.
Everything.
I've seen like the delayed slide, which I don't like.
Conspiracy Lindsey? Do we have conspiracy Lindsey?
Did you see how I just set him up?
It's not a conspiracy, but it's the fact that look, the best players get the benefit of the doubt.
That's fair.
When Michael Jordan was in the NBA, you know, if he drove to the basket and you did that, guess what?
Yeah.
It's a foul.
But okay.
If I drove to the basket,
then
no call.
You're absolutely correct. what I'm more so saying is not just the best players. I ain't talking about Jalen and Wemby. I'm talking about the player that affects on that team that moment to help. Shoot, if they need to help an individual out for the Spurs to extend, they may call a foul on somebody else on that team that's like the 7th man on the bench.
True.
He may get the call just because they want to help Wemby out.
So I'm gonna ask you this: do you think the NBA wanted that series to be ended that fast?
Hell no, but like they choked down the line.
No, they did not want it to be won in New York. Because if they win in New York in Game 6, the city's still burning.
No, it's gonna burn anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
That don't matter. They can win in Tuscaloosa. They gonna burn the city. That's New York. Did you see the aftermath of? And they haven't had the parade yet.
Shoot, they scared.
No, they're about to have it. They're about to have it.
I got a question for you. How do you feel about the Wilson ball?
The new Wilson ball? I mean, as long as it's leather, I'm cool.
Okay. All right.
I'm a Spalding guy. I'm a Spalding.
You ever taken one apart?
No.
Get your hands on one.
Yes, dude.
Get your hands on one and bring it here, please.
You talking about the light?
I'm talking about a game ball. Bring it here.
NBA game ball?
Yes, please.
What are you trying to say? What's wrong
Conspiracy with it? Answer. We'll get into that another day. We got to
You think
get to
there's a
Mike.
magnet in it?
I didn't say that. He said
Magnets
it.
in the
he
ball?
said that.
Stop it, man.
They got a chip in the football, though, right? That's a real thing.
So what does the chip do?
I don't know. I want to know, Lindsay.
It tracks the ball.
I'm sure. Yeah, it tracks the ball. It can't manipulate the ball.
Bring me a ball, Lindsay. Mike G, in
Hey,
the
I-
chat.
so I
We're
can
going to
deal
have some
with
fun
it.
here.
That's how I deal with
Are
that.
Neil Rule's shorts shorter than John Stockton shorts? Neil, Mike G wants to know.
I'm going Neil Rule.
No way, my boy Neil got shorter shorts than Stockton.
What?
No way.
That's cap. I seen.
There's no way.
I saw him at a Foley event. Saw him
No
at a,
way.
What?
Shorter than Stockton?
I'm talking about the double up in the pockets.
Daisy Dukes?
Get sent home from private
I
school.
want you to.
No, he ain't got. Our boy ain't got Daisy Dukes on.
They was with tassels now.
Neil, Neil, I don't believe it, bro.
Nah. Neil didn't go out like that, but it was a lot of thigh meat showing.
Two last ones. I have to read this one because he paid for it. Lindsay, did you ever play poker with Chauncey? On to the next one. Talk about your comparisons between Cade Cunningham and Grant Hill.
First of all, I don't gamble.
I didn't want to ask it, Lindsay.
No, you can ask it. I don't
you
gamble.
You know I love
though.
Chauncey. Still my guy.
I don't gamble at all. So
there's an easy answer.
I've seen some hell of a games though. But anyway,
Did you
those bunker suites, right?
Did you ever hang out? Hey, you know about Boo Ray. Hey,
that's what they play, Boo Ray.
1, 2, 3, drive.
I don't know how to play, so I don't.
Yeah. See, I was testing to see if you gamble because I play Boo Ray.
I have no what you're talking about.
Did you used to go out in Detroit back when you were here?
No gambling.
Because I was gonna say that's the biggest gamble.
No gambling place.
All right, Cade Cunningham and Grant Hill. We'd love to hear your parallels and what you see in similarities between those two greats.
Well, two totally different players.
Yeah.
Two totally different players. I put Cade in the mode of more of a. He's like a Luka with a little SGA mixed. That's what I see Cade
Grant
as.
Hill was an athlete.
Grant was was 6'8", slasher, get to the rim, one dribble. I mean, the stuff I watched Grant do. That's why when everybody was talking so highly of Scottie Pippen, I was like, I watched Grant give him 4.
Hell yeah.
And it was nothing he could do.
People only big Scottie up because it's to knock Jordan down. It's to knock Jordan down because the LeBron Jordan conversation still exists. Like whenever you hear anything about Jordan, it always comes back. If it's negative, it always comes back to the Jordan LeBron debate, which is
I'm sick of arguing with people about that crap. I get into fights almost because people want to come up and talk. Well, you keep talking. I said, bro, I love LeBron. I'm never gonna ever take anything from LeBron, but I'm a right to have my opinion.
Like, the answer is Mike, and the reason why it's Mike is because how they both answer the question. When LeBron's answered the question, LeBron always said, yeah, I am. I'm the king. I'm him. I'm this. I'm that. I'm the third. Da 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 da. When Michael Jordan asks the question, he always says, you cannot compare because it's errors. Like, that's how he gracefully bows out. He said, look, you can't compare. It's
But you know
errors.
he think he the dog.
Hell yeah, he does. But it's how you play the game, though.
Right. You're right.
It's how you play the game.
Because if you're around him, away from everybody, he
I
gets
play
to talking
spades.
and you looking like.
You ever see him cheating spades?
Nah, I'm not a I don't do that.
Spades. You don't have to gamble to play spades. Spades is just a card game.
Yes.
I don't play that.
He cheated.
Oh, you know, I play Uno.
He's still mad about his
I'm still mad. He was cheating Uno. Like, Mike, I saw Mike. If you play spades, you know the concept of spades. Like, it's legitimate.
My girl tried to teach me, but I couldn't.
All right, well, here you go. Legitimately, it's me and my partner. It's Mike and Charles Oakley. Shout out to Oak. That's my guy.
Oak was his partner?
Oak was his partner.
You knew you was going to lose.
Yeah, you already knew.
No, we won the first game. We won 11-2 and didn't even cheat.
That's called a setup.
Like 11-2 didn't even
hustling.
No, but I watched the cheat, like legitimately. So this is what happened. You can't
renege. You didn't say nothing?
No, because it's Mike. Hell no, I ain't going to say nothing. I'm enjoying the company.
Same thing I asked him.
I'm glad to be here. I ain't going to say nothing. It ain't that big a deal for me. It's not a big a deal in the moment to call Jordan out for cheating. Like, it's a big deal to talk about now. So we were the third book in. It was the third play, the third book. He played a 3 of spades. I'm like, damn, Mike cutting early. All right, I'm watching for it. The very next time I played the card, which is 2 plays later, I played that same. He cut again with that same 3 of spades. So he basically was taking his spades out of the book, putting them back in his hand, and getting rid of the cards that wasn't spades. I was like, that's diabolical. Well, it's Mike.
But I've watched guys on our plane
cheated.
One guy was cheating so bad he won. He probably won about $500,000.
And then nobody talked to him again.
Damn.
Yeah, they talked to him. They had to. They had no choice.
He was starting.
I'm not gonna say who he was.
In that case, he was more than starting.
Boy, I used to watch, and he was showing me. I was like, "Yeah, I won $50,000 on this flight."
I'm not saying that because I got an inkling of who it is. I can just guess.
Oh yeah, I got a check for $150,000. He just paid me.
I seen somebody had to give a check for $125K, and it hurt me. Because it wasn't the guy that was like the guy.
Shouldn't have been gambling.
Like, if you got a $125K check, you better be Peyton Manning, or you better be the individual on that team that had, like, this was a dude that was barely on the squad.
Yeah, I watched Rip lose $250,000 one flight.
Unfortunately, it's Rip,
Josh Knockhamson?
He lost more than that from Josh.
That's that. And that's how we gonna end it, because that's the NBA money. Because if I would have had to write a check for $250K, damn it, you gotta come to my house and whoop my ass to take it. Like, you, I owe you how much? I wrote the check out. It's right here. You got to get through me to get that check. Me and you, $250. So what? I lost.
You talking about so what I lost?
Man,
you should have been gambling.
You ain't getting $250 out of me. You my teammate. I got 75 for it.
No, but it's crazy you say that because as teammates they used to give each other breaks. Like they were like, okay, we'll settle for X amount of dollars.
I had a homeboy.
Or I'll come. Let me get that Maybach.
I had a homeboy that owed me $9K in Tunk, and I was like, man, he was like practice squad. He's a practice squad wide receiver, whatever.
Shouldn't have been gambling, bro.
True. I was like, man, just give me $1,000.
People that gamble, I don't feel bad when you lose your money because you knew the result. You're not gonna win every time.
You know what you did.
Should have been gambling. Don't gamble, chat.
That's the truth.
Words of wisdom from the great Detroit legend, Lindsey Hunterman. Always a pleasure to have you, my guy. Love you.
Appreciate
All right.
It.
You know we're going to let that conversation rock as long as we wanted to.
Hell
We're going to quick commercial break. Let's pay some bills so we can get out of the red, man, and get back to the show. Tell us about where we at, Supreme Lending?
Yes, sir.
Let's get Supreme Lending in here.
Yes, sir. Hey guys, you know that it is home buying season, so you got to get on the horn with Chris and Chad over at Supreme Lending, guys. Whether you are buying a new home, whether you are looking to upgrade, or you just want to refinance into a new mortgage, give these guys a call. Give them a call early, though, all right? That way, they're going to get you on the path to get into your best form. That means a really low interest rate. That means maybe a 0% down payment program, or you could just mention our name. We're going to save you up to $500 off your home appraisal. So get on the horn with Supreme Lending today. Give Chad and Chris a call. And buddies, talking about the best in the mortgage game, now we're talking the best in the pizza game. And that's not been a secret here in Detroit because they've been doing it for 80 years. But you're hearing it around the country, around the world. Everyone wants some of that Detroit-style deep dish pizza, and we're going to help you get some of that, but 20% cheaper, all right? You see that code right there, that Woodward 20. When you head on over to buddiespizza.com, you're going to put that code in, and you're going to get 20% off your order, or you can also use it to save up to $200 off of catering. You want that Buddy's Pizza party this summer, you can get it at buddiespizza.com.
Join Detroit City FC for a weeknight under the lights as El Paso Locomotive and Ted Lasso's Danny Rojas come to town Wednesday, June 10th at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets now at DebtCityFC.com.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports. The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, it's time to get your head right. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, PTSD, relationship issues, it's time to get the ball rolling. You want to hook up with Pure Psych. They're our brand new partners, and we love them because they don't just have a cookie cutter program for you. They tailor it specifically to you and your needs. They've got spots all throughout Michigan, as well as a couple more in Northern Ohio. So they're around, and they're waiting for your call. Reach out to them at PurePsychMI.com.
You want to tell them about Water Hazard?
And we are back to the Water Hazard. We're excited to talk about Water Hazard. Founders took 15 years, but they finally arrived at their first premium vodka in a can, and it is called the Water Hazard. 5% ABV. It is citrusy, refreshing, and it is gluten-free. Summertime. You know you want that refreshing drink. You know you want that chilled thing. Put a little lemon slice in. In fact, why don't you do a Water Hazard with a lemon slice? It is just as nice. Next time you're out, you better think about the Water Hazard from Founders Brew. And we back. Always good to have legends in the building, man. And
no doubt.
Lindsey Hunter is definitely that. I remember meeting Lindsey. I think I met Lindsey at the Palace in '95. The very first time I met Lindsey, met him with my dad. I think I met him at the Round Ball. I met him in '96 at the Round Ball Classic. You know who played at the Round Ball Classic in '96 at the Palace of Auburn Hills? And he was legitimately one basket away from being the MVP. It is the deceased Kobe Bean Bryant. So shout out to Lindsey, shout out to that moment. Tim Thomas was the #1 player in the country that year. Kobe came in here, did his thing, but guess who got the MVP? It was none other than Rashad Phillips
Detroit.
of U of D Mercy.
I was at the Palace in '93 when we drafted him.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
Shout out to go.
Had the draft here in Detroit, actually.
We did. I know we got some super chats. I know some people want to tap in and connect with Lindsey and have some things.
Let's have Gordon clear those out with that announcer voice.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
What kind of announcer voice?
Well, yeah, that is specific. You pay me for different things. But listen, we're gonna shout out first to Michael Weary with $5 in the chat. How much do you guys appreciate Brad Holmes saying he's not done with the moves? And then we have. Kind of hard to read the entire thing here because he slapped a 10 on it. Shout out to, I think, J-Rod Sayers in the chat. Happy Tuesday, crew. Missed y'all live yesterday and looking for a new date to come into the studio. Anson is the man, in parentheses. Went to Grand Rapids, Sun, to see the Journey concert. Equals fantastic. And then we had Michael Weary doubling down in there with a twofer. One thing about, I believe that's Dan Campbell, one thing about DC, He calls it like it is. So shout out to all of. Oh, we got one more in there from Michael Weary, actually.
Shout out Michael Weary getting it cracking.
Man, shout out. Theo Rochette signed a 1-year entry-level deal with the Detroit Red Wings. Any thoughts? And that was for $5.
And we also got one more from Nitty Gritty that just came in.
Anson, you're the effing man. Never thought you'd actually ask him.
Oh, no wonder why you wanted to.
I didn't even see what. I didn't even read it. I just saw it.
By the way, on getting your name on the graphic. Oh, congrats on getting your name on the graphic. You deserve it, brother.
The Lindsay thing with the play the poker with Chauncey, I didn't technically ask him. I just read it, okay? Yeah, that was it. I hopped right over that. I didn't want to put him in that spot, but you did pay for it, Nitty, and I did say I'd ask him any questions y'all paid for.
A lot going on. I want to get back to the Michael Weary. What was the first chat that he said? What was the first super chat?
Michael Weary, how much do you guys appreciate Brad Holmes saying he's not done with the moves?
There we go. It was funny. I sent the video into the Slack before we came in. I literally got out of my car when I got to Calvin's outing yesterday, and I was, I wasn't late, but I didn't arrive early enough to do all the things. So now I'm like trying to get my glove, trying to get my shirt tucked in, and they had one last little shuttle take you out of the parking lot over there. Guess who was sitting in the very front seat? It was none other than Brad Holmes himself. And I had a little video of me riding with him. I was asking him questions when I was riding up there, and he's always gracious and always answered as well. So I didn't record me asking the questions.
That's what I was waiting for it.
That's definitely Brad right there. I was trolling. And it's funny because legitimately there was one part where he almost turned around, and I was like, man, it's a nice weather we have out here. Nice weather we are having.
That's hilarious, dude.
At 100%. But keep sending the super chats, keep sending the conversation. Appreciate you guys always engaging and being a part of the show. Let's switch gears. So much about football, so much about the Lions, so much about the Pistons and Lindsey Hunter. You got excited. Oh, it's delayed over there. So you just
I did.
I saw it.
I didn't know you knew it. I just laughed.
100%. I'm in tune. I'm in tap. You know who else seems to be in tune right now? How about I give you these numbers right now? Since the month of June, the Detroit Tigers are now 8-4, and in this month they have 30 long balls in a 12-game span. It's the most in 125 years.
Wow.
Coach Keith.
Wow, really?
Coach Keith heating up a little bit. He thinks so. 3 home runs in one game. Gordo, I know you love the Detroit Tigers, and I know you do it very
quadrupled his total on the season.
He did. He's been doing his thing. Now, I don't want to get too much into the Tigers are back and this, that, and the third, but I will say this. Why should people be excited for this month in which they're 8-4 and they seem a lot different than they did that past month of May?
Well, I think people can be excited for this month because we're starting to see some production from what we've always thought is the heart of this lineup. Guys like Colt Keith, guys like Spencer Torkelson, those are the guys that you expected to be your sluggers coming into the year. You expected them to come in whatever situation that you needed and for them to get runs home, to, get RBIs. And that's exactly what we got from Colt Keith last night with a whopping 6 RBIs. That's absolutely insane. I mean, his stat line last night makes up for a significant amount of the dip in production that we've seen. However, a Colt Keith, a Spencer Torkelson, this is the thing that we've consistently seen from them is that they are inconsistent. They go on these streaky runs where, all of a sudden Torque looks like, like a Barry Bonds out there. He's crushing them into the 15th row of, whatever
down.
Studio. You know what I mean though. Like he's absolutely smashing, these balls into the stands. But man, you need the consistency, and it almost makes me upset because it makes me think, where was this for the last 2-3 months? Because this team would be, in my opinion, at 500 if you had bats that consistently were able to, bail out this bullpen.
Yeah. And they're 12 games behind, still fighting to get back to that spot. But, thinking about this, players are leaving, players are coming back. A lot of people not upset, but, feel a type of way because Gleyber Torres goes down. But when you look at Kevin McGonigal's numbers, the rookie phenom for the Detroit Tigers, are equivalent, if not better, than Gleyber Torres, and also the pitching, B-Lad. You got 3 pitchers out. Now you bring back 3 pitchers as well. Talk about the switching for the Detroit Lions, Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hard on this team all season long, and I'm going to continue to be hard on this team all season long because this AL is terrible, and our division sucks, and we aren't winning. I'm glad that we're stringing together wins, and we see some players starting to hit the ball. That's definitely more exciting. But as far as the pitching goes, is we dropped the majority of the payroll on the starting rotation. Obviously, with Framber Valdez taking the majority of that money. But you have Flaherty, who hasn't been good all year. He's now hurt. Verlander, I wasn't expecting to really do anything at all this year. Obviously, like, it was cool to bring him back in the storyline behind all that. But let's be honest with you. Verlander's signing was kind of like all the signings that Scott Harris made at the deadline last year. A lot of guys that were on the clearance rack that have done good in the past, but as of late haven't really done much of anything at all. It'll be interesting to see some of these guys coming back, because I know we just got Mize back, we just got Skubal back, to see how that may turn things around, because those are 2 key players to actually like make some changes. As far as the lineup goes, and a lot of people use it as an excuse, was like, oh, a lot of these guys weren't healthy, yada, 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 but like they weren't really making that big of an impact when they were in the lineup. And I'm talking about more like Kerry Carpenter, those kind of guys like that. And I was listening to Mike Valeni, another, one of our competitors out there yesterday, but he touched on it a lot, where it was like, we have Jahmai Jones in the lineup and we keep seeing him out there, yet he keeps struggling. And I did some research beyond that point to kind of get that point across, and it's true. We keep putting these Matt Vierling guys out there, guys that wouldn't really start in any other MLB lineups. So
4A guys.
4A guys, which is correct. That is like very spot on the description of those players. So I'm just still not all the way bought in yet. I'm glad they're winning and they're stringing together some wins, but that Cleveland series was kind of big on the pivot of the season, and we didn't prevail at the end of the day. I know the last game got rained out and rescheduled, but we didn't win the series, and that was a crucial series to win in order for me personally to buy back in. And it's just it's hard to see, because at the beginning of the season, like, we weren't expecting this at all. We were expecting us to be contenders for a championship this year, and it's just not playing out how it's going to be. And baseball is a weird sport. I understand that, and a lot of things can go wrong, but I'm still not bought in yet. I'm glad that players are coming back, but I'm still not all the way bought in.
Yeah, and real quick, I just wanted to touch on AJ Hinch.
Get him, Gordo.
A lot of people have been really getting after AJ Hinch, but I think there's something deeper going on here with this Jahmai Jones situation. Yeah. I think AJ Hinch is extremely frustrated at the cards that he's been given by his manager, Scott Harris, and I believe that he's continuing to trot out a guy like Jahmai Jones in these clutch situations. Like, I have this right here, shout out Tigers data. The Tigers are hitting for 130 with a 457 OPS in pinch hit opportunities. That's bottom of the league. That is unacceptable. Yeah. But you know what I think it is? I think it's AJ Hinch being like, this is all I have. You haven't given me anybody, decent to come in off the bench. You haven't, stocked this minor league system with guys that can, come in. I mean, we should have a Ben Malgeri up here. There's a couple of guys here, but ultimately, AJ doesn't have the card, like the cards to have a winning hand.
He doesn't.
He doesn't at all.
Does it feel very similar to another franchise that the Illich is on?
100%.
Common thread.
It's so frustrating, because it just in the back of your mind that they don't really care about you, and that's one thing. You see all these other. We used to have a GM in this town that sold out for the team and to win a pennant, and that's Dave Nabrowski. And those teams were like that. Tigers team in 2013, 2012, 2014. Those were electric rosters, electric pitching staffs. The only thing that really held us back was the bullpen, and that's what is still kind of holding us back today. But these rosters, like, you can tell that they were completely strategically oriented to go sell out and win something. Right now, they're just still tinkering with these 4A guys, and we still have to see these guys that would not start on not even on the Angels. I would feel like another terrible team in the MLB, and it's so frustrating because.
Oh yeah, I see it in your eyes, man.
It is, because I grew up with the Tigers winning.
But is it Dombrowski or Harris? Or is it the Illiches?
I mean, because
the old man gives Dombrowski whatever he wants.
100%.
The son, not so much. Come on, you're a great manager. Managed with what I gave you.
The son wasn't there, and I knew they were selling out for Mike Ilitch before he had passed away.
That's real thing.
And that's kind of what that was for, in my opinion. And But now, like that, Chris is in here. They're more worried about the ticket sales and the strawberry daiquiris on Friday night when people all go out to the games. That's the most popular, as far as the demand goes for Tigers games.
And the orange Verlander jerseys.
But it's just like, dude, that doesn't help. Like, we want to see winning baseball here. I have my whole life. I'm only 23 years old, but I've never viewed the Tigers as a bad team, obviously, until the last decade when everything kind of fell apart, when we didn't have the farm system after Dombrowski sold it all. But that was for something, and we were almost there.
Let's go to a quick commercial break. We took a little bit longer with the Lindsey Hunter issue, so we'll get back on track. But I will say this. I want both. I want you to focus on the merch. I want you to focus on the fun things. I want you to focus on the ballpark, etc. But I want you to focus on the ball players more. When you create the home plate club and you spend all that money on that, and then you charge then you charge everybody involved so much money to acquire those seats, to purchase that for the long haul, and then you don't provide a product, if you will, from the bats and spend money in that, you can't do both of those things. That's where I feel about that.
Final word on that one from the Super Chat. Thank our lucky star Illich. Couldn't buy the Pistons. Shout out Sideless.
I thought Tom Gores was worse than him.
Yeah, can Gores buy the Tigers?
In fact, can the Fords buy the Tigers or something?
That would be nice.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Sheila's turned it around.
Gores would.
We'll see.
Gores. I
Gores
have
is the
zero second thought in my mind that Gores would pay Tarek Skubal. Tarek Skubal would already be in our organization for the next 10 years.
Gores has gone from what I thought was one of the 5 worst owners in all of sports to the owner I have the most faith in Detroit. I love the regime running the Lions. Don't get me wrong. But all of those decisions go past Sheila to a board.
That's true. And if Sheila owned the Tigers, the tickets would be $400.
Yeah, who has more? Who's the richest owner? It's very simple.
It's somebody that makes cars. A lot of them for a long time.
No, it's not.
It's
In
not.
fact,
Tom
the
Gores.
opposite. Sheila's the brokest because she has less access to less than a
But
fifth.
that's the thing is the Ford family, the actual umbrella company, the corporation has the most money. But they're just a subsidiary of the Ford family. Gores, he gets to do whatever he wants with his money.
Illich is the richest in the city, I believe.
Yeah. He's not?
No.
Oh, I thought between all the property and everything that he was. That's an interesting debate. We should get into that one day.
We definitely look that up, though. But like to your point, like Sheila and them, like that still entity is still controlled by the Ford.
Yes, sir.
So it's a ration for
sir.
her.
It's a ration, 100%.
Tom is what, 9 billion in, 10, 12?
Has to be. Damn. Upwards.
Yeah, because he's made like 4.5 off the Pistons alone.
Have you ever seen that guy throw a T-shirt?
He almost threw his arm on his side. Give me a message in from Pure. Let me hear about Pure Psychology.
I will tell them actually about the subathon, right? Because we already talked about Pure once. Listen, guys, it is Friday. This Friday, the subathon returns. You were there a few years ago. They did it for 16 hours. They're going to go for over 24. They might go all weekend. What you do on Friday, the 19th, you show up at 5 p.m. for the heavies, like normal. But you stay. And you bring your wallet because you're going to Super Chat. Every single time you do, they have to stay there longer. It's going to be amazing. There might be some ball gags and some gimp masks and some collars and chains, all that stuff. You were there for the last subathon. You know how wild it gets. So make sure you're there again this Friday for subathon number 2, June 19th, starting at 5 p.m.
Sounded a little aggressive. I think my invite got lost in the mail. But let me tell you a little bit about Art and Jake's. Summer nights, cold drinks, and Tigers baseball. I thought this was so far and long away when we first started doing the read, but it is around the corner. June 30th. That's right. Art and Jake, Sterling Heights. Come on down and hang out with us. It is the Detroit Tigers watch party. Isn't it crazy what a difference 2 weeks make? Because remember when I first started talking about this watch party, it was like, ain't no way in hell I'm going to Art and Jake's go watch the damn Tigers. Now you look at what the Tigers record is. Now you see a little bit of excitement. Well, come on out. Don't miss the excitement. Wall to wall, 80 TVs, 22 beers on tap. They have it all. Scan the QR code. Well, I guess it would be that way. Just like they used to do back in the old commercials. Scan that QR code, be a part of that. Founders Brewing, we appreciate them. They will be in the building, and they will make sure everything is all right. June 30th at Art and Jake's.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or bust Lions network. Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Let me tell you folks about Massage Chair House. Are you looking to take your relaxation game to the next level? Then you have got to check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest. They carry top brands like Infinity and Osaki, making it the go-to destination for premium comfort and cutting-edge wellness technology. Be sure to visit Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage chair reviews at The Wellness Doc. Book your visit today at massagechairhouse.com. That's massagechairhouse.com, or simply scan that QR code above my head. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate relaxation and recovery.
And we back. In the words of Kool-Aid. What's the word, Chad? How you feeling out today, man? A lot of information passed to you guys. A great show, great topics. Enjoyed the conversation. It was good to see Lindsay sneak and pop up in here. I feel like we've talked about a lot.
Chuck Brewer helping out in the chat here a little bit. He said that Gores is around 10.1.
That's what I thought.
Dang,
which
man.
doubles up the Illich to around 5.
Damn.
He said that Sheila gets a $2 billion trust for the Lions.
Mm-hmm. So she's $8 billion in the hole.
So that's, and again, the Ford thing, the huge all of it, that's the most wealth. But again, it's a stipend that they basically cut off for a subsidiary of the parent company. And then when you look at Illich, they run these teams the same way that they run their properties down in Detroit. It's not fair and it's not honest to Detroiters. And then you got this guy Gores, who just absolutely flipped the script, buys out Monty, accepts the fact that he made a problem, faces it, and look where we are. They might be the closest to a championship in town.
I think also when you have that money like Tom Gores has, that cash on, like cash is king. He has an infinite flow. He has an infinite flow of cash.
Liquid.
Legitimately, 100%. It's liquid. And in today's sporting world, if you have an influx, if you do not care about luxury tax, if you do not care about the penalty, if you do not care about the perception, if you do not care about paying 3 coaches at the same time because you have to fire guys, if you don't care about that, you can win quick.
True that.
You can turn it around. And I think Gores saw that template and was like, oh, you know what? Okay, this it might not be such a bad, even though he's already owned it for a while. So I think 100%. That's where he's at with it now.
And it was great to see that he made that full 180 too, because like Anson said, at one point it was like, holy smokes, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Then he admitted his wrongdoings and stuff like that. But I have a message for Sheila. Please, please just lower the ticket prices. This isn't MSG. We're not doing this whole thing.
Ain't gonna happen.
The greed in sports has gotten outrageous, and you're pushing real fans out. Do you not understand the fact that these prices, this being this high, pushes the fans that actually help your team win?
Thanksgiving was quiet. I was there. I was ashamed of the crowd.
Yes.
It's not the Lions crowd I've been used to. They were damn quiet in a game that we needed them.
I went
the Lions needed us.
2 home games last year, both primetime. One was Monday night against Tampa Bay, which was that was rocking. I will say that a lot of the season ticket holders, early fans, they're going to be there at an early game. But then I went to a Thursday night game against Dallas. Empty seats everywhere.
No way.
And it's the whiteout. It was a full whiteout in Ford Field. Obviously, you know Ford Field, how Lions fans get, the ones that are really there and they really care and have a dime to spend. They were loud. But there was a lot of people sitting down, a lot of people quiet. And like back in the day, back in 22, 23, when I went to these home games, you couldn't find an empty seat.
That's because
they were so loud.
That's because they had never done it.
That's what I'm saying.
And now you get to 23 and you go 12-5, and you saw. Now you get to 24 and you go 15-2.
Yes.
Now people got used to winning.
You would
it was
think
like the
that
price
it would
point
help.
and used to winning.
Oh yeah.
Like they would make almost the same amount of money, if not a little bit more, if they were selling out games still at a lower price.
And by the way, that was the goal when Chris and Sheila sat down with Dan and Brad. Successful business.
Gordo. It is a successful business.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say I don't want to see the Ford Field turn into the Toronto Maple Leafs Stadium. I think it's like Scotiabank Arena because you see clips out of there. I know their team hasn't been great, but even when they do get a good win, and like a couple years ago had some
they finally got past the first round.
Yeah, they finally got past that place was a library. Do not let Ford Field turn into a library.
I'll bet.
That is absolutely fair.
I love this super chat for Crazy Clown going back to the Tigers. 84 was the blueprint, is the blueprint, but that was before people who don't watch the Tigers started gambling. Well played, Crazy.
Well played. Let's talk about this before we get up out of here. There we go. I was like, where's the camera?
My bad.
We got 2 situations where people entering the transfer portal. But this time it's not the transfer portal leaving college to college. Britton Sorsby is now entering the supplemental draft. I think you guys have pushed him to the point he's tired of trying to deal with whatever it's going to be at Texas Tech.
Oh,
he's
we did
going
it, huh?
into the supplemental draft.
Him.
And then there's another individual. We can mention both at the same time. MSU.
Another quarterback?
No. This is an AD.
Running back?
This ain't even a football player.
Not a player?
Not even a part of the sports administration. This is, the coaching staff, if you will. This is an AD. MSU AD leaves MSU. I'm sorry, my phone turned on. AD now left MSU. Some was like
Wool. It sounded like Candy Crush.
I think it's called Wool Crush.
Okay.
You get bored from time to time.
Fun game.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a fun game. It catch you up. I can't stand when the dragon gets to that cat so fast. Anyway, but you're starting to see it now. It's not even just you guys gonna be laughing about this damn game. And you shut up.
He's so mad about the dragon, though.
Shut up so I get back on track. I am mad about the dragon. Dragon takes. Oh my god. Let's just do the Brent Sorsby one first, though. What do you think? The 2026 NFL supplemental draft. But didn't this guy get clearance? Didn't they say he was okay? Didn't he say he was coming back? But then you get what do you think happened in this situation for him to go from I'm staying to now I'm just going to supplemental draft?
You got a phone call. Somebody is interested. And in a league where guys are willing to jump into the first round to take a third-round rated QB, this is a guy that falls to you where you get a chance to know that you can have him just by giving up your 4th-round pick next year. And for a QB-needy team, this guy's, there's differing opinions on him. Some guys have said that he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback in the league last year. But what I've seen is that he looks like a 3rd or 4th-round talent. And in today's NFL, they're willing to take that risk. But the nice thing about this is you don't have the risk of having to worry about the other guys. Like the majority of the team that's going to take him, they're sitting at the top of the order. And they know they're going to get their 4th-round pick next year.
Yeah, 100% too. And that's another thing is I did hear, and hopefully my research was right, and obviously because Lord knows you can't find real information nowadays. But there was something that came out where the Big 12 was potentially going to not let him play.
There we go.
And that's where I believe, Anson, where you're spot on the nose, where NFL teams found out about that. Word comes around, goes around, and he got that phone call saying, like, hey, there are a couple teams, and I had a couple teams in mind. I was telling Braylon outside before the show that have a high pick in that draft and don't necessarily have to give up anything in 2027 for this draft that could potentially snag him and develop him and work him in. And the teams that I had mentioned were Arizona, the New York Jets, and possibly maybe the New Orleans Saints at the end of the day. I mean, they seem like they like Tyler Shuck, and I kind of do too, but you never know if you can get a quarterback like this who is projected top 5, top 10, top 15 next year at this value. That's the reason why they were like, hey, you ever think about the supplemental draft? Like, this could be a potential opportunity for you.
Keep him in the back pocket.
Yeah, exactly right.
This is just hilarious that they're clamoring at this quarterback like that. He's not that good.
No.
Like, he's not going to be a good NFL pro. Like, legitimately. He played at Indiana, not when Kurt Signetti was there. They weren't good when he was there. He played 2 years, only played that 1 year, and then he played for Cincinnati for 2 years. And now he's some commodity that people are drooling over.
You think Cleveland gets him?
Give me an effing break.
Sounds like a Brown to me.
The mistake by the lake.
Yeah, but who's developing him down there in Cleveland? Who's developing him in Arizona?
I like Dylan Gabriel smaller than all the other girls, too. You see that?
Like, just another situation for him to go be Cleveland where they're going to give him one game and then talk badly
Speaking
about
of
him.
which, who's under center week 1 next year? Or this year, you think?
Deshaun Watson.
Everyone's hyping up Shedeur. Like,
did you see the ducks Deshaun Watson was throwing though?
Yeah, I did.
I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
You think it's
you would
Watson,
think
huh?
He would be better than that.
Because they got so much money tied up in him. It's like, I think Shedeur, they deal with Shedeur. You deal with more of the conversation from last year. If he's not successful, now it's an argument. If he is successful, then why he's not playing more, etc. I think I don't even know who Taylor Green is. Kenny Pickett is.
Taylor Green's the guy from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Intriguing player.
He is an intriguing player.
Like Dominique Thompson's right, like no and no. Shedeur, I want to at least see Shedeur get a fair shake and see what it is. But even with Shedeur, it's like,
I mean, they've been hyping him up like crazy on Twitter. They're like, oh, Shedeur is
the guy sells
everybody.
Jerseys.
Yes, that
you
is
got to
true.
remember that.
He made the Pro Bowl, Anson.
That's crazy.
That's a rookie.
That's one of the.
Come on. That's
for what? After playing 5 games?
Oh yeah, that was enough.
That's a mic drop.
That one is crazy.
Because nobody want. Well, no. What it is it's not that you made it. Nobody wants to play.
Yeah.
So like you legitimately, it's like you invite somebody to your house, you having a party, like, hey, or invite somebody last minute. Hey, look, man, I was supposed to go to this game with such and such, but they flaked. Yo, you want to go, and you just keep getting denied. Yeah. And it's like until someone accepts. It's almost like Mike Brown, who won NBA championship.
Yeah.
How many coaches was like, nah, I'm busy on that day. And finally Mike Brown was like, well, I mean, I ain't doing much. I can coach the Knicks.
And you know that team is going to fall apart overnight.
The Knicks?
Yeah.
You hope they do. You want them to.
They probably will.
You got to throw hope in there.
Well, I mean, realistically, it's already started.
Did
you see the way too early betting odds? Like they're 4th to win the championship next year. They got 3 teams ahead of them, and they just won the championship.
Who were the 3 teams ahead of them? OKC,
1,
San Antonio,
2,
Detroit.
No.
Boston.
It was Boston.
Yeah,
but
OKC was in there.
OKC, San Antonio, and
especially if Boston, if all these trade rumors are real,
it was Boston.
They get Giannis.
That deal that if they have to give up White and Jaylen Brown for a guy that hasn't played more than 57 games in 7 years.
Oh, I know.
It's not going to work out for Boston, man.
I mean, but hopefully obviously I feel like they would fill in those gaps.
Sure. But it changes their whole identity of what they do. It is still Giannis, and if you get him healthy and he's playing in April and May.
Let's do this. This is how we're going to end the show. Has anybody been watching World Cup?
Hell yeah.
Have you been watching World Cup? Team USA, they have a win for the one they did this past Friday. The next game they play is this Friday against Australia. Have you watching? Have you been dialing in? I have to a certain extent. One thing I don't like right now is every game is a freaking tie. And what I have noticed about World Cup, I think you're seeing what happens in all sports now, where there's an even distribution of talent.
Parity.
You're starting to see that in World Cup too, because there's no way some of these teams should have been tied. Like looking at the Spain versus freaking Cape Verde, a small African coach on the West Coast. Legitimately, the goal, that game finished in a 0-0 tie. tie.
People are saying that that's good ball.
Like,
all the soccer elite.
It is good ball in the sense of
I don't think
it's back, but like not in the first round. Like there's got to be. It should be blowouts, and if it's not blowout, like 4-1, like that's legit. Hey, we're a better team than you. This is round one. Let's kick your ass and see what it is. You're seeing so many ties with teams like the Netherlands tied with Japan. Stop playing.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing? But I do know this: the Cape Verde goalie who showed out, pitched the shutout. He went from 50,000 followers on Instagram to 7.5 million. Anson, give me the other stat, like the game stat.
Which one?
Where it was like
at 85 with 5 minutes left to play, he's at 1 million.
He was at 1 million with 5 minutes left to play.
That's crazy. Wow. 43,000 to start the game. Game's not even over, and you clipping 1 million.
You know how many people that's more than? It's 7.5 in total. Like Wemby, the guy we keep talking about, yeah, he's got more views than him already, more Instagram followers than him. But that's the power of football. Mm-hmm. Like we look at American football, football is great, and it's the greatest game, and this, that, and the third.
Yeah, world's game.
Football is played every nook and cranny in this country, in this world.
People need to wake up and take notice of this men's team, okay? Because if you look at what Paraguay did, I don't believe they had given up more than 1 goal in like 10 straight matches.
That is true.
I think they tied both Argentina and Brazil in their last matches. This is not a bad team. This is not like beating Iran or beating, one of the tiny little Asian countries that barely gets there, or Cape Verde.
Yeah.
This team right now, like when you look at back in 94 and 02, this team, the U.S. men's team, progressed because they play great team ball. They're playing even the best team ball we've ever seen them play, but they also have some true individual players, which is what you need.
Yep.
And they're going to win their qualifying group. This team has a real opportunity to make it back to the quarterfinals. I don't want to say shock the world and make it past that, but who the hell knows?
Come on, baby. Last time they did that was 2002. So we got to see what that looks like. Look, man, this has been a great show. This
great show.
Let's go.
This has been a lot of fun. It's been fun. Glad to be back, locked in, as you see, on the National Championship University of Michigan basketball team shirt. Gordo, man, appreciate you over there.
Hell yeah.
Hell of a job out of you. B-Lad, Sweet Potato Cam, and then my co-host on the desk, my man Anson Wells. Great job out of you. We will see you guys tomorrow. More show, more know.
Yes, sir.